Amen. It says here, dwelling in the light which no man can approach. Christ dwells within the light, in an unapproachable light, a light so bright and a light so powerful that you and I, or even some of the angels, unless given permission, can approach it. So, Christ is going to tell in the Secrets of Enoch, he's telling Enoch that he was in the midst of this great light. So he told Adoyle to come down, and he told Adoyle to become undone. So, in other words, there was an explosion. Now, you're going to start to comprehend what Adoyle is in a minute. And he said, there came forth a great age and showed. Now, what he said, when he's talking about only light can come from light, he's talking about an explosion. Light has to, like the splitting of atoms, the only way you can get light is from light. But in here, he's talking about an explosion, which is where science so-called gets the Big Bang. Okay? So, now he's going to say here, and I saw that it was good. So, just like in Genesis, when he says he saw that it was good. So, let's go back to Genesis real quick, because Genesis is going to say, okay, so he says, and God saw the light, and it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness and he called night, and the evening, and it was the first day. And God said, let there be firmament in the midst of the waters. God damn. The Secrets of Enoch is true. Now, I'm about to get to something in a minute, but let me go back there for right now. Okay? Firmament, okay, we'll get to that point. So Adoyle came, and Adoyle exploded, and a great age brought forth a great age and showed all creation, which I had thought to create. Let me tell y'all what Adoyle is. This is not even a guess. I know. He said that when Adoyle came and undid himself, meaning it expanded, it exploded, it expanded. Science tells us that the Big Bang, when the Big Bang happened, there was an explosion and an expansion. This is what Christ is talking about right here. This is what Christ is talking about right here. So what is Adoyle? Adoyle is physicality. Adoyle is something that you can see. And just like science says the Big Bang, so Yahuwah was in the midst, Christ was in the midst of this explosion. He was causing this explosion. How powerful and how great is our Creator? He was in the midst of it because it came from Him. He brought it from the lowest, He brought it from His bowels. And it came and it exploded from Him, and it expanded to ever in to limitlessness. That's what's happening right here. That's why he was in the midst of it, because he was forcing it out. He created it, he thought it, and then he released it. And it showed creation, because the doyle was the physical, was meaning it was able to be seen. It was the physicality of creation. He was in the midst of the explosion. And he saw that that was good. Now pay attention. Pay attention. And I placed for myself a throne, and took my seat on it, and said to the light, Go thence up higher, and fix yourself high above the throne, and be a foundation to the highest things. So there's a higher foundation that he created. A ceiling, if there is even a ceiling to heaven. I'm not going to act like I can explain this all. Okay? Then he's going to say, and above that light there is nothing else. So above this light, this highest foundation, there is nothing else. So limbo. There is limbo. Nothing above this highest light. And then I bent up and looked up from my throne. So then he looked up from his throne. And I summoned from the very lowest a second time. So when he says that he's summoning from the very lowest, he's talking about from within himself. So he summoned from the very lowest again for the second time, and said, Let Arcus come forth hard. And he came forth hard and invisible. So now he says, Let Arcus come forth. Once again, these aren't actual angels or aren't actual beings, but they are existence. So he says he summoned Arcus. And it's going to explain here that Arcus came forth hard from the invisible. Arcus came forth hard from the invisible, meaning from his spirit, from his belly, from nothing. He's thinking of these things and he's creating these things. And Arcus came forth hard, heavy, and very red, and said, so he said to Arcus, Be opened up, Arcus, and let there be born from you. And he became undone, and age came forth, very great and very dark, bearing the creation of all lower things. And I saw that it was good, and said to him, Go thence down below, and make yourself firm, and be a foundation for the lower things. And it happened, and he went down and fixed himself, and became the foundation of lower things. And below the darkness, there is nothing else. So, a doyle is the Shamayim, which is the height, and Arcus is the Mayim, which is the depth. And I commanded that there should be taken from light and darkness, and I said, be thick, and it becomes thus. And I spread it out with the light, and it became water. And I commanded that there should be taken from light and darkness. And I said, be thick. And it became thus. And he expanded it, he spread it out, and it became water. And I spread it out over the darkness below and the light. And then I made firm the waters, that is to say, the bottomless. I made foundation of light around the water, and created 7 circles from inside, and imaged the water like crystal and wet dry. That is to say, like glass. And the circumcision of the waters and the other elements, and I showed each one of them its road, and the 7 stars, each one of them in its heaven, that they go thus, and I saw that it was good. So he showed the waters, its roads, its pathways, roads meaning its pathways, its water routes, and all of these things of the nature. Now, I don't want this to get too boring, but I want to show you something, right? Because he's going to say, and I saw it and it was good. And then he says, and I separated between the light and darkness, and I said, and I say, and that is to say, in the midst of the water, hither and thither. He said, so I separated between light and between darkness, that is to say, in the midst of the water, hither and thither. And I said to the light that it should be day, and to the darkness that it should be night. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. Now, everything is obviously, it's coming from water, right? There were 2 components that he ignited from himself prior to creating the water. So all of this rock, the foundations of the lower, I don't know if it was rock or if it was actually, it wasn't rock, because rock is created from water. Everything is created from water. So the reason why it's called bottomless, because there is no end. He said because beneath it there is nothing else. So this universe, I'm taking it, is pretty much suspended on nothing. The waters end where they end, wherever they end, and the heavens, the sky, that light that he put, there's nothing else above that highest foundation, that ends wherever that ends. And then in this bottomless, he took and he put water in there, because you have the Shamayim and you have the Mayim. Water is the Mayim, and the heavens are the height are Shamayim. Right? So he said he separated the light and between it and there was evening, and this was the first morning, and there was morning. So he separated. So he created light and day, and this was the first day. So Genesis chapter 1 verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. It's going hand in hand with the scroll of Genesis. But here, and I'm about to end this volume 1, but I want y'all to listen very carefully, because right here, when you go into verse 6, he's going to say, and Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. I want y'all to listen to what I'm about to tell y'all. The firmament is the dome above this planet. You don't believe me? Let me go here to chapter 6. Let's go to firmament. Hebrews 75. Hebrews 75. (49). What is the firmament? It's called the rakia. Properly, an expansion. The rakia is an expansion. The visible arc of the sky. That expansion, I'm starting to believe, is not just over just this planet, but whatever, I don't even know how far, what if there's anything. I know that this planet, he just basically said that he divided the waters. He placed the firmament, he placed the rakia, the dome over this planet, to divide the waters from the waters. So that means that there are waters that are above that rakia, to divide them from the waters that are down here on this planet, on this earth. Is that not what he just said? When y'all come here, I'm going to talk about whatever the one I want to talk about, as long as it's related to Christ. For those of you, many of you have probably logged off already, and that's okay. I'm doing my job. This is my job. If it's gotten boring, if you want to go out and shake your ass, or it's Saturday anyway. Many of you are not watching this message tonight. Many of you are not going to watch this message until tomorrow. But either way you look at it, this message is the truth. Whether it's boring, whether it's corny, whether it's lame, whether it's not interesting, it's the truth. And you should get to know Christ. Get to know him. These are the things that he did. Everything was created by him, and nothing that is created, he had nothing to do. Everything that is created, he had everything to do with it. He said, and Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. He divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. There are waters above the dome in the sky. I keep telling y'all that. I keep telling y'all that. Y'all don't want to believe me. Let's go back to the secrets of Enoch. We go to chapter 28. We're almost finished. We go to chapter 28. Chapter 28 is going to say, "And then I made firm the heavenly circle, and made that the lower water which is under." This is the secrets of Enoch. Is matching hand in hand with the scroll of Genesis. So then he's going to say, "And then I made firm the heavenly circle," which is the rakia, "and made that the lower water which is under heaven collect itself together into one whole, and that the chaos become dry, and it became..." So he just giving a little bit more detail here. And I'm not saying that I understand it completely, but I understand it enough to know that it's going hand in hand with the scroll of Genesis. So this is after the first day, after he created. So when he brought Adoil, and then when he brought Archaeus, and he created the heaven, and then he created the Shamayim, and then he created the Mayim. And so the waters are the Mayim. And the waters are the deep. So the spirit, so he was still hovering, so he was hovering across the spirit of the deep. Just like it said in the scroll of Genesis. And then he's going to say now he's making the firmament. After the first day, which is in the second day, he created the firmament. And then he said, "I made the firmament, I made the firm and heavenly circle, that the lower water which is under heaven collect itself together into one whole, that the lower waters collected itself." So, and then he says, "Out of the waves I created rock, hard and big." So, rock is made from water. So, Adoil and Archaeus are just the altitude, they're the height, they're the Shamayim, and they're the Mayim. And then out of the Mayim, the heavens and the earth. The heavens is the sky. So when Archaeus came, that's why it says Archaeus came, because the earth is rock, is ground. But it was the rock and ground in abundance, and it was the lower foundation. Then he put the water in the lower foundation. But then he's going to also say, out of the waves I created rock hard and big. So, rock is created from water, because it tells you right here. And from the rock I piled up the dry. And the dry I called earth. and in the midst of the dry I called earth. And in the midst of the earth I called abyss, that is to say, the bottomless. And I collected the sea in one place and bound it together with a yoke. So the waters beneath the earth are connected to the waters on the earth. I told y'all that. But the waters above the earth are separated from the waters beneath. And I said to the sea, behold, I give you your eternal elements, and you shall not break loose from your component parts. Thus I made fast the firmament. So it's going to say, so either the second or the third day he created the angels. But we're going to skip that. So let's see if this matches, right? So the third day, I commanded the earth to make grow and create the fruit and the trees, and seed to sow, and planted the paradise and enclosed. So he created the fruit and the trees and all that on the third day. And on the fourth day, he commanded that there should be great lights on the heavenly circles. On the first uppermost circle, I placed the stars. So he created the moon and the... Okay, let's see if that matches. Yep, he created the greater lights, the moons, and everything on the fourth day. So pretty much everything is matching. But I want to end it like this, right? I want to end it with something pretty spectacular. Created the animals on the fifth day. Give me a minute, because there's something I want to end it with something. Hold up. Okay, let me finish this, right? But this is what I want you all to do, because I don't want to go through this whole thing. But the Secrets of Enoch chapter, you can start at chapter 22 if you want to read for yourself, and read down to chapter 23, chapter 24. They're short chapters, and see how they go hand in hand with the book of Genesis. But there's a reason why I wanted to end it like this. Because he made the angels either on the second or the third day. He didn't make them on the first day. He made them, or he might have made them on the first day, right? So somewhere between the first and the second day, he made the angels, okay? It's kind of confusing here, but in the book of Job, it said that the angels, it didn't say that they witnessed him create the heavens and the earth. It just said that they jumped for joy when the heavens and the earth was created. So I don't know, did he make them after that, or did he make them before that exactly? But in chapter 29, the Secrets of Enoch in chapter 29, I want to make something, I wanted to end it with this for a reason. He says, and for all the heavenly troops, I imaged the image and essence of fire. And my eye looked at the very hard, firm rock. And from the gleam of my eye, the lightning received its wonderful nature. So Christ is going to say that from the gleam of his eye, lightning received its wonderful nature. Now I'm about to explain to you how wonderful lightning is, and I'm going to confirm it with science. Okay? This is what he says about lightning. He says lightning is both fire and water. It says here that the wonderful nature which is both fire and in water, and water and in fire. So lightning is fire in water, and water and fire. Well, how is that possible? And then it's going to say, and one does not put out the other, nor does one dry up the other. So the water doesn't put out the fire, and the fire doesn't dry up the water. Therefore, the lightning is brighter than the sun. So he says that